Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today. So children, as promised, let us continue with the lesson that we did in the last video. So we were doing a lesson in standard 3rd EVS, remember? And I taught you about water. And we also discussed that there are so many points that we have learnt about water already in lesson number 8 and lesson number 9. And in lesson number 10, we learnt more about water. But then the lesson is a long lesson. There are so many things that we have to learn about water. So we were not able to complete that in one video. So here is part 2 about water. Okay, so this is part 2 of lesson number 10. So before we move on and we see some new points in this lesson, let us quickly revise what we did in part 1 of this lesson. So we talked about characteristics of water. Characteristics means, children, I told you, qualities or properties. So we saw that water has no smell. Flowers can have nice smells. Okay, the things that we eat, for example, when your mummy makes besan ka laddu, that has got such a nice smell. But water, which is pure, does not have any smell. We also saw that water has got no taste. Remember, we talked about taste of mangoes, taste of the tamarind, etc. And we discussed that water has got no taste at all if it is pure. We also saw that water has no color. Okay, so water is odorless, tasteless and colorless. That means it has no smell, no taste, no color. So these are some you can say characteristics or qualities of water that we learned. We learned about some more qualities of water. So let us see what they were. So we saw that water takes the shape of its container. See, I showed you so many lovely pictures about water taking the shape of its container, isn't it? So do you remember I showed you that whatever the shape of the container is, the water takes that shape. We also discussed that water spreads on a flat surface, and then we also saw how water flows down a slope. Okay, so this is all that we learned in the first part of this lesson. Now let us move on and let us learn some more interesting things about water. So we will talk about states of water in this particular lesson. Now states, children, is a new word for you. It could be something which you have not heard. So what is the meaning of state? States means that the form in which a thing or a substance can be found. Okay, so state means the form. That is, look at the states of water here. In one place it is hard, in the other place it is liquid, and in the third place it has become vapor. So state means a form in which a thing or substance can be found. So states of water means the states in which water can be found. Okay, so let us look at the 3 states in which anything can be found. So anything that you see around yourself can be found in 3 states. It could be solid, it could be liquid, or it could be in the gaseous state. Okay, so anything that you see around you, matter, it could be in the solid state or the liquid state or the gaseous state. So see, what are the 3 states of matter? Solid, liquid and gas. For gas, we also call it as vapor of water. When we talk about the gaseous state of water or water in its gaseous state, we say vapor. So, what is the meaning of states of matter, children? State means the form in which a substance may be formed. Okay, so states of water means the form in which water can be found, and states of matter means a form in which a substance can be found. So hope you understood what the meaning of a state is. Now let us try and understand what are the different states of water and how do these states keep on changing. Okay, so look at this. These are the solid states. Before we go to water, let us try to understand which are the three states of anything or three states of matter. So these are some examples of solid things. So what is this? This is a guitar. Okay, you can touch a guitar. It feels hard. And does the guitar change its shape? No, it does not. So it is a solid. See this robo here. He's a solid. See the truck here. The truck is an example of solid. And what about this slice of tasty pizza? It is also solid. Okay, so solids have their own shape. That is why they are called as solid. They do not change the shape when you touch them, or when you put them in a container. Okay, so that is what we learnt about water, isn't it? So these are all examples of solid. Let us look at some examples of liquids now. So see here, water in a pool is liquid. Water in a tap is liquid. Water in the form of juice is liquid. Okay, milk is liquid. Oil in which your mummy fries batata vada is liquid. So all these are liquids. So liquids also, like water, take the shape of the vessel in which they are poured, or they take the shape of the container. For example, see, water in this pool is flat, and water in this glass is tall. The juice in the glass is tall. Okay, so liquids do not have any shape. They take the shape of the container, just like we studied about water. Now let us look at the third state, that is the state of gases. Now gases, you cannot keep them in any container. For example, see here, this is the smoke from a volcano. Can you try to contain the smoke? No, the smoke will spread in the air, isn't it? What about this steam coming out from tea? This also goes and it spreads out. Okay, this is LPG gas, which we use in our auto rickshaws, in the taxis, in buses also sometimes. And then when you grow a little bigger, when you go to the science laboratories and the teacher does some experiments for you, you will see some kind of gas coming out of chemicals. So all these, children, are examples of gases. So water that we are studying about in today's lesson, you can see it in the form of solids, you can see it in the form of liquids, as well as in the form of a gas. And I told you now, what is the gas of water called? It is called vapor. It is called water vapor. Okay, so come on, see, these are the three states of water. So we have solid, liquid, gas. Solid, liquid, gas. Okay, so solid is in the form of ice, liquid is in the form of a glass of water, and gas is in the form of vapor. So all of us, we have seen the solid form of ice, we have seen the liquid form of ice, and also the gaseous form of ice, isn't it? So these are the three states of water: the solid state, the liquid state, and the state of gas. Okay, what is the solid state called? It is called ice. What is the liquid state called? It is called water. And what is the gaseous state called? It is called as water vapor. Okay, children, so hope this idea of the different states of water is clear to you. Now let us see how these states can interchange. These states keep on changing, children. So let us see how that happens. So see, what is this? This is a glass of water. Okay, this is a glass. Inside this glass, you can see pieces of ice put in. Can you see? There is water, there is a glass, and inside the glass there are some ice cubes. So you can do this experiment at home, okay? Tell your mummy to give you a glass and tell your mummy to give you a few cubes of ice. Now children, now it is not good in this COVID season to have things which are very cold. Okay, you should try not to fall sick. So don't eat the ice or drink the cold water later on. Do this as an experiment. So place a few cubes of ice in a glass after some time and leave it out in the open. Alright, now when the ice is solid, where did you remove it from? You removed it from the fridge, which was very cold, isn't it? When you keep it outside, what happens? The heat is there in the air outside. Alright, so what will happen to this ice after some time? After 10 minutes, if you go and look at the glass in which this ice is kept, what will happen to the ice? This ice will have melted. Can you see? There is no more ice in this glass. This is the same glass which you kept outside, but now there is no ice. So where has this ice gone, children? The ice has become water. So you will see that after some time, the ice will become water. How did this ice become water now? So the heat causes ice to become water. So whatever heat was there in the air outside, you know, it is sometimes very hot, isn't it? You sweat like this and you wipe your face with a handkerchief, okay, because it is hot. So heat causes the ice to become water, isn't it? Look at this now. It is a pan of water, the same water in the glass. You poured it into a pan and you kept it on a gas stove. What can you see now? When we heat this water, it starts boiling. Can you see the water boiling? Along with the water boiling, you can see some dhua or some steam coming out of the water. So what is the steam, children? It is the water which is changing into steam or vapor. So when you heat the ice a little bit, it becomes water. And when you heat this water a little bit, what does it become? It becomes vapor, or it becomes gas, or it becomes steam. See how the water is turning into steam. So heat causes the water to become vapor. Now you all understood what the meaning of vapor is. Vapor means the gas form of water. You say gaseous, you don't say gas. But gaseous is a little big word, so I'm saying gas. If you are able to say gaseous, it is very good. Okay, so the heat causes water to become vapor. Alright, vapor means steam or vapor means gas. So see, suppose there is a vessel. In that vessel you have taken water and you are heating the vessel. Can you see you're heating the vessel? There is a candle burning beneath the vessel. It is not a candle actually, it is a burner. Okay, like you have a gas burner on your gas stove. This is a burner. As the water becomes hot, the bubbles will start forming and then the water will start boiling. If you boil the water for some time, for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you will see that the quantity of the water has reduced. Can you see here? Here there is so much water. Whereas after boiling it for some time, what has happened? The water has become so little. It has almost become half. So why has this happened? It has happened because the water turns into steam on heating. When you keep on heating water, it changes from water to steam. That is why it is said that when you heat water, it changes to steam. Okay, so you can see now how water changes its state. Alright, see, so water which is a solid, that is ice, when you heat this ice, not necessary to keep the ice on gas, okay, ice melts with the heat which is there in the air around you. So when this ice gets a little bit of heat, what happens is it melts to become water. Can you see here? And the same water, if you collect it in a pan and again you heat it on a gas or on a stove or on a burner, you will see that it starts becoming vapor. Can you see? So in the previous picture I showed you now how the water becomes less and less. Sometimes what happens? Your mummy keeps something on the gas and she forgets. Alright, and then that thing burns off. Burns off means all the water in that has turned to steam and it starts burning. The vessel starts burning, isn't it? So this is how it happens, because heat causes the ice to become water and the water to become steam or vapor. Okay, moving on, let us talk about the next point here. Now steam, when it cools, now let us see what happens in the ulta process. We saw how ice becomes steam. Now let us talk about how steam becomes water. Okay, so steam, when you cool it, see, this is again a beaker which is boiling with boiling water inside it. If you hold a steel plate on top of that beaker like this, what happens? The steam rises from here and it touches the cold plate and immediately it forms drops of water on the plate. So when you cool steam, steam turns to water, so it goes ulta. Okay, so when you cool steam, it turns to water. See here, there is water boiling, and if you hold a steel plate on it, and if you remove the steel plate after some time, you will see that water droplets falling out of the steel plate. See, this is one very good experiment. If you want, you can do it at home. But be careful that your mother is there with you or an elder is there with you when you are lighting the stove or the gas. So you keep water in a teapot or in a small jug to boil, and wherever the steam is coming out from, keep a plate on which ice is there. Now why ice is there? So that immediately you can see the steam becoming water. Alright, so if you hold it like this, the ice has made the plate very cold. Okay, as soon as this hot steam touches the plate, which is very cold, it immediately changes to water. So when you cool steam, it changes to water. Okay, so see how the process is going in the opposite direction. So when steam cools, it forms water, and when water cools, what happens? It forms ice. Have you seen how people keep ice trays in the freezer? And you fill the ice tray with water, and when you keep it in the freezer for half an hour or 1 hour, it becomes ice. So when steam cools, it becomes water. When water cools, it becomes ice. Okay, so what plays a main role in changing the states of water? What do you think? Which is the thing that plays a main role in changing the states of water? Yes, it is heat. So you give heat to water, the state changes. You take away heat. When you take away heat means what are you doing? You are cooling something. Okay, the state of water will change. For example, again, let us look at the same experiment or same thing that we saw. So when you heat ice, it becomes water. When you heat water, it becomes steam. So heat plays a main role in changing the states of water. All right. So giving heat to water or heating water makes it change its state. See here? And when steam is cooled, it forms water, and when water is cooled, it forms ice. Okay, so this is about the states of water. So when water boils, it turns into steam, and when water cools, it turns into ice. For example, take an ice tray and pour pour a few glasses of water into the ice tray and put the ice tray in the freezer section of your refrigerator. After an hour or two, you will see that it has become ice. Okay, so when water cools down, it turns into ice. So this is about how water changes its state. Now ice is made in large quantities, children, in factories. Okay, at home you make ice in the refrigerator like we saw here, but in your textbook on page number 63 there is a small question about do you know, and in which they have told you that ice is made in very large quantities in factories, whereas at home we make it in the fridge or the freezer section of our fridge. See here, this is how ice is made as huge blocks in big factories, and then they transport it, they take it from one place to another in trucks. Alright, and then when you go to a juice center, you ask the juice wala uncle to give you a glass of watermelon juice. He tells you, should I put ice in it? And when you say yes, he breaks a small piece of ice from this big piece that he has. Okay, it is called as a slab of ice. So he breaks a small piece from the slab and he puts it in your watermelon juice, and then your watermelon juice becomes very tasty, isn't it? But as I told you, now since it is a time when people are falling sick, do not try to eat too much ice or cold things. Alright, now let us see something more interesting made with ice. So have you seen this? All of us have eaten this, isn't it? On one side you can see the picture of a Pepsi Cola. So Pepsi Colas are water which is frozen and in which color and sweeteners have been added, sugar has been added, and it is put in plastic bags like this. And then you bite off the plastic bag and you nicely suck onto the Pepsi Cola, isn't it? And then you have these candies which are made up of ice. So here how is it made? Ice is frozen, water is frozen, and in that water they add sugar, they add fruit juices, and ice candy or ice fruit is made. Okay, let us move on and let us talk about some more qualities, but before that, one last time we will revise. So when ice is given heat, it becomes water, and when water is given heat, it becomes vapor. Now I keep on repeating these points, children, so that there is no way that you will forget this point after watching this video. Vapor, when you cool it, it becomes water, and water, when you cool it, it becomes ice. So I told you, it is a process which goes ulta and pulta. Alright, so this was about how the states of water can change. Let us now go and talk about some more qualities of water. So see, we will do one more experiment. Now this experiment is also part of your textbook. Okay, so let us take a glass of water. Take a simple glass, sorry, not a glass of water. You will just take a simple glass and you will wipe it clean from inside as well as from outside. So if you have your textbooks, children, you can open it to page number 61. You will see this experiment in your textbook on page number 61. So first you will take a glass, then you will nicely clean the glass, that is you will wipe it dry from inside as well as from outside. Then what will you do? You will put in some ice cubes. We had seen this, we had seen bottles of Pepsi, etc. So you see, put in some ice cube. After some time, you will see that the ice will melt. Of course, we saw it. Okay, what else will you see? You will see that the water droplets will be seen on the outside of the glass. Inside there is ice, but outside you will see drops of water. So where did these drops of water come from? So there was no water outside, isn't it? We wiped the glass clean, we wiped the glass dry. So where did these drops of water on the outside of the glass come from? Isn't it a question sometimes you feel? We have seen these kind of pictures sometimes when we drink Pepsi Cola or sometimes when we drink Thumbs Up. You will see that there is a lot of water on the outside of the bottle. There is Pepsi inside the bottle and in the bottle is cold. When you drink cold Pepsi Cola, you will see there is a lot of water on the outside also of the bottle. See, like this. You must have seen this on this kind of a bottle also. See, there are lots of water droplets on the outside. So where did these water droplets come from? That means there is water somewhere around us also in the air, isn't it? Because we saw that when vapor cools, it becomes water. So when this vapor touched this cold bottle, it became water. See here, you've seen these kind of glasses also. Sometimes we write on it, isn't it? So this is because water vapor is present around us. See, this is the cold glass. And when the warm moist air means air in which there is a lot of water vapor, when it touches the cold glass, it turns into small drops of water. We did an experiment also. I showed you the experiment also where you boil water and you hold a plate on it. Okay, so this means that there are water droplets around us, surrounding us all the time, but it is in the form of vapor. We cannot see it, but when it touches a cold thing, immediately we are able to see it because it changes into drops of water. Okay, children? So now this was one more thing, that there is water vapor all around us. Okay, so water is present in the air also in the form of water vapor. So can you see this? All these, you can see beautiful droplets of water. They are in the form of vapor or they are in the form of gas. Okay, so this is one more important thing. Now let us look at one experiment. One more experiment we will look at. Suppose you must have seen your mummy making chapatis on a tawa. Now a tawa is called as a griddle in English. So when she is roasting chapatis on the griddle, you know that the griddle becomes very, very hot, isn't it? So now try once without getting scolded by your mother to put some drops of water on this griddle. Try to sprinkle some drops of water on the griddle. You will hear a very amusing sound also. Okay, it will do chir 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 sound will come, and then you will see that the water droplets, they fly away in the air. They evaporate. See, like this. Can you see when water touches a hot surface, what happens? It immediately changes into steam. So this also we saw. So when water not only boils but also when it touches a hot surface, it changes into steam, and when it touches a cold surface, it changes into water vapor, changes into water. Okay. Now this is a very common thing that all of us do. What does your mummy do? After she washes your clothes, she puts it out to dry like this. She hangs it out to dry. Why does she hang it out to dry like this? Because of the heat of the sun. What happens? The water which is there in the clothes, they become vapor. When you kept water on the gas and when you boiled it, it became vapor. But here, when the clothes are wet, when your mother washes the clothes are wet, isn't it? So there is water in the clothes. Something is wet means there is water. So when you put it out to dry, can you see the heat of the sun falling on these clothes? What happens is, because of the heat of the sun, all the water in the clothes, they evaporate and the clothes become dry. So that is also one reason. There is also one property of water. You see that when water becomes hot or when you give heat to it, it changes into vapor. Alright. Now we will talk about the next quality of water. That is, there are many things which mix up with water. Once you put it in water and you mix it up, you will not be able to see that particular thing. You will be able to see only water. That is called as dissolving. What is it called? It is called as dissolving. Now see, what are they doing? Someone has taken a spoonful of sugar and they have added it to a glass of water and they are mixing it up. After the sugar gets mixed, you will not be able to see the sugar at all. You will be able to see only the water. That means the sugar has dissolved in this water. Okay, see turmeric, haldi. Try adding haldi to a glass of water. You will see how the turmeric also dissolves in the water. And here the water becomes yellow. Sugar did not have a color, so the water did not get color. But turmeric is yellow in color. So here in this case, the water becomes yellow in color. See salt. Salt also, if you mix it up, can you see the salt now in the water? No, because the salt has dissolved in the water. Okay, so sugar dissolves in water. Haldi or turmeric dissolves in water. See, good or jaggery also dissolves in water. You must have seen your mummy making good water, isn't it? Jaggery water. She puts good or jaggery in water and she heats it. So the good becomes water. The good mixes up, it dissolves in the water. So things which dissolve in water are called as soluble. Okay? They dissolve, they mix up with the water completely. Example, salt. And things which do not dissolve in water are called insoluble. For example, see here, in this glass jar there is sand. You poured water here on top of the sand. Now the water is separate and the sand is separate. Means the sand did not mix up with the water. Okay, so there are certain things which dissolve in water and then there are certain things which do not dissolve in water. Okay, so see, salt can dissolve and sand cannot dissolve. So salt, when you add it to water, it becomes invisible. It vanishes. It goes away into the water. Whereas sand, when you add it to a glass of water, it stays as it is. Alright? So children, this was a very interesting lesson. We learned so many things about water. So what all things did we learn about water in this particular lesson? We learned that water has no color, smell or taste. And we also learned that water is transparent. Okay, that is, you can see through water, ar-par. We also learned that water takes the shape of the container in which it is kept. One more new point that we learned was water spreads on a flat surface and it flows down a slope. Okay, after that we saw that water is found in 3 states: solid, liquid and gaseous state. Finally, we learned that there are very large number of substances, like for example sugar, salt, haldi or turmeric, good or jaggery, which dissolve in water. So children, we have learned so many things about water in these 3 lessons about water that we had. So lesson number 8, lesson number 9 and lesson number 10 was about water. I hope you understood all that we learned in these videos. Now the next lesson is also going to be very interesting. We are going to learn about air. Okay, but that will be in a later video. So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.